tobacco, firearms, and explosives, where I was a supervisor. I live on the North Shore, the caller, Jake, not his real name, said. There's a guy up here in the Devil's Disciples, and I think I could make an introduction for you guys. Jake was a drunk, a really degenerate one at that. He had a rap sheet and knew he could get paid as an informant, which is why he called us. There was always an ulterior motive with those types of guys. You'll see. We brought Jake into the Boston field office, and because no one in that office had a lot of experience in working outlaw motorcycle gang cases, I was asked to come in. I'd gone undercover many times throughout my career, in Los Angeles, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Arizona, Nevada, Rhode Island, New York, and Colorado. I'd survived shootouts with gangbangers and taken down bomb-making white supremacists. I knew the cost of undercover work, including the mental toll, and I knew the commitment it took not only to make a case, but to survive with my life and sanity intact. I had also done a lot of undercover work earlier in California with the Mongols and the Vagos biker clubs. One time I was busting a biker named Vago Chuck in L.A. We executed a search warrant on his house and were in his bedroom. We had him cuffed. He was standing there in the middle of the room, and he wasn't saying anything. We started tossing the room when all of a sudden I noticed the fucking wall moving. I drew my gun, shocked about what was happening. As I looked closer, I noticed a figure. It was a woman, bare-ass naked and covered head to toe in tattoos, and she was chained to the wall. She had so many tattoos, she blended into the wallpaper, and I didn't even see her until she moved. They were doing some freaky bondage shit. But with the cuffs now tight around his wrists, all Chuck could do was laugh. I also got pulled into the infamous Mongols case led by ATF agent Billy Queen, who infiltrated the club in the late 1990s. The agent who supervised the Mongols case involving Queen was John Ciccone. John and I graduated from the academy together, and we were sworn into ATF on the same day. We were both sent out to LA and were roommates for 2 years. I was brought in to help out on some takedowns and sit in on key interviews in the Queen case. I learned a lot from that case, and it prepared me well for what lay ahead. Eric Kochian, the agent in the Boston office who took the initial call from the informant, was gung-ho about the opportunity to get some intel on the Devil's Disciples and the Pagans. He badly wanted to do the case and asked me to do some initial undercover work. Hey, I just had this guy come in, and he was talking about Devil's Disciples and patching over to the Pagans, Kochian told me. A stocky, easygoing agent with a buzz cut, Eric Kochian joined ATF in 2002 after working for 4 years as a United States Marshal. We called him Coach because of his last name. Eric got along well with everyone due to his laid-back personality. We talked about the structure of the Disciples and how many members they had in Massachusetts. We also knew they were a support club of the Pagans, which meant they backed them up when needed, were involved in criminal activity with the Pagans, and were allowed at some Pagans' events. Let's bring him in, I said. Let's put him on the box. The box is a polygraph. Before I spent any time on this case, I wanted to see if Jake was full of shit. I also wanted to be sure that I wasn't being set up. Jake wasn't a patched member of an outlaw motorcycle gang, known in law enforcement as an OMG, but he was a biker immersed in outlaw culture, and the information he was giving us made a lot of sense. There are many ways to be connected to a biker gang. You can be a hang-around, which is a male known to one or more members who is allowed to party with the club and hang out at their bars and social events. Then there's a prospect, which is a male seeking to join the club. A prospect is like a pledge in a college fraternity, although the hazing is slightly different, as it often involves threats, beatings, and food and sleep deprivation. They are totally submissive to members and must follow strict rules and fulfill stringent requirements if they are to be accepted. Prospecting in some clubs, especially the Pagans, is hell. Once a hopeful member successfully completes their prospect time, which in the Pagans is a minimum of 6 months, and passes the gang's background checks and intense scrutiny, they become a patched member. This means they are formally inducted into the